Hi everyone. In this short tutorial I'd like to give you an introduction to how to find dissertations at our library. A dissertation, as you may know, is a research project that is completed as part of a doctoral degree and focuses on original research. And at our library we have two databases that I would like to show to you. One is called the ProQuest Dissertations and Theses Global Database, and the other one is called Open Dissertations. And right now you can see the home page of the library. If you go over to A to Z Databases, click on that, you'll get an A to Z list of all the databases that we license. Let me show you the ProQuest database first, which is ProQuest for P, which is right here. This database is the largest database containing dissertations in the world. It has about 5 million dissertations indexed, and about 2 million of those 5 million are full text. This is an important thing to remember when you're searching this database because it defaults to full text. That is, when you run a search in it, it will display only those dissertations which are available full text in the database. If you unclick this, then you'll get in your search results probably citations to dissertations that are not available full text. If you wanted to obtain that dissertation, you would have to contact ProQuest, and you're welcome to get the contact information from us at the reference desk. And my understanding is ProQuest is currently charging $35 or $40 for a copy, so that's a decision you have to make. And one thing to bear in mind also is this database is dissertations and theses, so it is not only just doctoral dissertations, it also contains many master's theses. So if you want to just have doctoral dissertations, then you must click this button here as well, so it'll filter out just down to dissertations. My suggestion in using this database is not to do a basic search, which is what it defaults to, but rather to do an advanced search. An advanced search will give you a lot more functionality, a lot more power. Here you're brought to this search page, and you can go down the page. You can see there are a number of different options. We can screen by, in this case we're going to say just doctoral dissertations. You can screen by language, by index, subject headings, the institution, which particular, Harvard University or Stanford or whatever school, and a particular advisor, as well as the author. In this case, I'm not going to use any of these filters. I'm just going to go up here to these search fields, and I'm going to type in a couple of terms. Let's say Six Sigma. And one thing to remember when you type in a phrase is if you want the database to read it as a phrase is to put it in quotes. Otherwise it'll be six and sigma, and they could, it may have nothing to do with each other. Just if you want something that's strictly on Six Sigma, you want to put it in quotes. And then hospitals would be here. And over here you have a choice of anywhere or all these other different ways to filter. My suggestion is to put it anywhere except full text. If you leave it on anywhere, that's literally anywhere in the document the word Six Sigma or hospitals appears, and that could very well be a 200-page dissertation. The word hospital appears somewhere once, and it will retrieve that in the search results. And in the dissertation may really have nothing to do with hospitals. So by clicking on anywhere except full text, you're saying the search term must be either in the title of the dissertation, the abstract, which is a brief summary of the dissertation, or one of the subject terms. So it's likely that the dissertations that are retrieved in your search results will really have something to do with hospitals. So I'm going to say anywhere except full text. The same thing here. And I've limited just to full text. At this point, I'm not going to filter by date, but I have that option. And I think sometimes it's best when you're doing searching in a database like this is to go broad and then review the number of search results that you get, and then you can cut it by date if you want. And I'm not going to use any of the other filters. And I hit search, and this will leave me with 26. So I've got 26 full text dissertations in which the words hospital and Six Sigma appear somewhere in the title, abstract, or subject heading. Now, these 26 cover the period 2006 to 2020. If I wanted to, I could change that. I could drag this little bar across, or I could enter a date range here. I can just drag this over, let's say, to 2010, update, and that will cut it from 26 down to 24. And if I go down here, I can say show abstract, and it will give me an abstract for that particular dissertation, so I can decide whether that's something of interest to me that I want to bring up. I can download it here as a preview PDF, a full text PDF, and if I want to, as I go down through here also, I can say, well, gee, I really like this one, and I like this one, and I like this one. And what you can do is up here, you can click on this and you can put it into a folder. The very first time you use the folder, you'll be prompted to create an account, and you can then, after that time, log in and you can save your search results. So you could go in on a Wednesday night and for a half hour search the database and then save your research and then resume your research a few days later when you have time. So that's a good way of managing your research. So this is the ProQuest Dissertations and Theses database. And this is also the database which for doctoral students at our college, all the dissertations are submitted to this database. So you can search for the dissertations which are part of our graduates. The other database I want to show you briefly is one called Open Dissertations. Let me close this here. And if I Open Dissertations is right here. Now, Open Dissertations is a much smaller database. If you remember the numbers that I gave you on the ProQuest Dissertations and Theses database, about 5 million are in it indexed, about 2 million of those full text. Open Dissertations, by comparison, is about 100,000. But Open Dissertations is also, I think, a useful database to check out because the problem with searching for dissertations is sometimes they're in numerous places. I mean, not all colleges and universities deposit their dissertations into the ProQuest database. Some of them retain them just in institutional repositories. That is, for example, XYZ University issues a doctoral program, has a doctoral program, issues dissertations, and they may have their archive, an online archive for their institution, which is where their dissertations are kept, but they don't contribute them to the ProQuest database. So if you're trying to do a fairly comprehensive search of what's been published in dissertations, sometimes I would certainly start with the ProQuest database, but then you might want to complement that by looking in the Open Dissertations database, because what the Open Dissertations database does, it provides links to many other dissertations which may not necessarily be in the ProQuest database. So again, it's a smaller database, but one that I think is worth spending a few minutes just double checking. And when you go in here, we could also type in, let's say nonprofit and management. And this database, which is issued by a company called EBSCO, is a little bit different than the ProQuest database. Here it's select a field, or you've got these other options. I usually, when I do a search in this database, leave it on select a field. And what that does is it limits the search results just to those where the word nonprofit, or whatever search term you have, appears either in the title, the abstract, or one of the subject headings. So the dissertation is much likely to be about nonprofits, and the same thing with management, which is just leave it on select a field. And you can see also as you go down the page, you do have some options. You can limit it by date. You can institution. In this case, I'm just going to go broad and just search by those two terms. And here, what you will see is dissertations, and you can, if you want, go to page options. You can click on detailed, so it's going to show you an abstract of what that dissertation has. And then as you go down here, you'll notice when you in the records, these links. What these links are out to different institutional repositories where these dissertations have been deposited. So if you click on this, it'll bring you, this I see Ohio link. If you were to click on that, it most likely is at Ohio State University or some institution in Ohio. It would bring you to the institutional repository for that particular school, and then you could view that dissertation. And just as far as managing your research, just like in the ProQuest database, you can go to this particular link and you can pull it down from there. That is downloaded, or you could, if you wanted to, save these records in this database. Click on the ones that interest you, go up here and go to folder, and you can save the dissertations and for a later time when you want to come back and resume your research. So two databases I said. One is the ProQuest Dissertations and Theses database, a terrific database, the largest of its kind in the world, which we license and which our school's dissertations are deposited into, as well as Open Dissertations, a smaller but equally interesting database which provides dissertations which have not been deposited necessarily in the ProQuest database but are in institutional repositories. Any questions about dissertations or any sort of research, please always feel free to contact the reference desk so we can help you. Good luck in your studies. Thanks.